Hi everyone, and welcome to the Softball Canada Speaker Series presented by Rawlings Canada. Today's webinar will be a special slow pitch border battle athlete pool selection live announcement. Although the softball season is currently suspended in many areas of the country due to the COVID-19 situation, we are happy to have this opportunity to engage with the slow pitch community. Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à la série de webinaires de Softball Canada présentée par Rawlings Canada. Le webinaire d'aujourd'hui sera une annonce spéciale de la sélection du bassin d'athlètes des équipes de la bataille de la frontière de Bataille. Quoique la saison de softball est présentement suspendue dans plusieurs régions du pays en raison de la situation COVID-19, on est heureux d'avoir la chance de nous engager avec la communauté de la Bataille. Before we get started, we want to thank everyone for joining us and for following the social distancing measures as directed by the Government of Canada and your local health authorities. Softball Canada has been monitoring the situation closely and is posting regular updates on its website. The softball season is starting up in some areas of the country. We strongly encourage that you follow your local, provincial, and territorial association return to play guidelines while respecting all government public health regulations. Avant de commencer, on veut vous remercier d'être avec nous et de suivre les mesures de distanciation sociale telles qu'identifiées par le gouvernement du Canada et vos autorités locales de soins de la santé. Softball Canada surveille la situation de près et publie des mises à jour régulières sur son site web. La saison de softball commence dans certaines régions du pays. On vous encourage de suivre les lignes directrices de retour au jeu de votre association provinciale et territoriale tout en respectant les directives de vos départements gouvernementaux de santé publique. This webinar series is presented by our proud partners at Rawlings Canada. Please join Rawlings Canada, Softball Canada, and all of our provincial and territorial partners by marking your calendars for National Play Catch Week coming up from June 21 to 27. Cette série de webinaires est présentée par nos fiers partenaires à Rawlings Canada. Veuillez joindre Rawlings Canada, Softball Canada et nos partenaires des associations provinciales et territoriales de softball en marquant votre calendrier pour la semaine nationale de lancer attraper la balle du 21 au 27 juin. We also want to recognize our great partners at Home Run Sports who go above and beyond to support the game of softball. Home Run Sports is the exclusive umpire apparel supplier and online store of Softball Canada, and also outfits our slow pitch border battle teams and supplies bats for Softball Canada's Canadian Slow Pitch Championships. We are very grateful for all of their contributions to the game. On veut aussi reconnaître nos excellents partenaires à Home Run Sports qui vont au-delà des attentes pour soutenir le sport du softball. Home Run Sports est le fournisseur exclusif de vêtements d'arbitres et de magasins en ligne de Softball Canada et fournit aussi les uniformes des équipes de la bataille de la frontière et les bâtons au championnat canadien de balle longue. On est très reconnaissant pour toutes leurs contributions à notre sport. So allow me to introduce Mike Brancho, the manager of national teams and Canadian championships at Softball Canada, who also handles slow pitch in his responsibilities. Welcome, Mike, and thanks for putting this webinar together.
Hi, Jill. Thanks very much. Welcome, everybody. Tonight we're doing something different, so bear with us if it's obviously not a TV production, but we're going to do our best to get the message across. The purpose, obviously, is in this situation that we're currently in. We want to generate some interest into the great game of slow pitch, and we thought, why not try something a little bit different and name our border battle athlete pools on a live webinar. So we want to keep that interest going, and hopefully we can get back on the field soon and get some games and some tournaments and some events in. So the plan, quite simple, is to name the 20 athletes that will be part of the men's pool and 20 athletes that will be part of the women's pool. From there, potentially this summer, the coaching staff will name up to 16 players that will participate in the border battle. Currently, the border battle is scheduled in Oklahoma City, September 25 to 27. Unfortunately, at this time, we're not sure that Canada will be sending a team due to various reasons. Quite frankly, we're not sure what the travel is going to be like. Right now, there's no out-of-country insurance for teams traveling to the U.S., and quite frankly, the USA are very tough opponents, and if we're not ready to put a team together because of lack of playing or practicing, we're not going to put ourselves into a no-win situation. So a lot of factors have to happen before the border battle goes for this coming September. We're still hopeful, but again, we're going to play things by ear and see how it goes and make a decision probably sometime next month. If it doesn't go, right now the border battle for 21 is scheduled back in Kent, Washington, sometime in July. We haven't been given exact dates yet. And from there, we will have our 20-player athlete pool already in place, and sometime next spring, we will select up to the 16 players that will be going to the border battle in 21 from this list if 2020 doesn't happen. So once again, you know, this is something new, so your feedback is appreciated. There's a question bar on the side that feel free to put some questions in there. We'll try and answer them to the best of our ability at the end of the broadcast, and go from there. So first off, the history of the border battle. This would be the 12th annual border battle coming up. Obviously, you know, very tough opponents, as mentioned, the USA. Canada has won twice on the men's side, most recently in 2017 with a score of 31-28. And then back in the second border battle in 2010, a very exciting 30-29 win. On the women's side, we've won 1 out of the 3 in 2017. The first ever border battle on the women's side was a clean sweep for Canada, and we won 12-8. So we're quite excited for this border battle. I think the 20 athletes from each side are excellent choices. And once again, feel free to put your questions in that question box. And so moving forward, I'd like to introduce the head coaches and also the assistant coaches for both teams. We'd like to welcome back on the men's side, Grant Garrett. Grant has been with us, I want to say, I think 4 years. He won back in, let's see, when did Grant win? No, 7th year for Grant. At the Canadian Championships, he's won 9 golds, 3 as a player and 6 as a coach. So welcome back, Grant. His assistants, once again, are Todd Cadenhead. Todd has been with Team Canada for 6 years as a player, and then 5 years as an assistant coach. So welcome back, Todd. And rounding out the assistant coaches, once again, is Mike Hernenko, who's back for his 4th border battle. Mike is from Winnipeg, as you can see, but has been coaching in Alberta for the last several years. So welcome back to the front for the 3 men's coaches. On the women's side, once again, we'd like to welcome back for his 4th year, Tony Carnelos. Tony was the winning coach in the first border battle for the women back in 2017. In his Canadian Championships, on the women's side, he has 6 golds. And on the men's side, he has 7 golds as a coach. So welcome back, Tony, as head coach. His assistants, once again, are Bruce Collette, Bruce from Guelph, Ontario, and Karina Zanoli, who's back for her 2nd tour with us from, actually, I think she just left Lethbridge, but she is still from Alberta. So welcome to both coaching staffs. So now I believe we're going to turn it over to Grant, who will give us a little introduction, and also to Tony, who will then make the selections one by one for each team. Thanks, and keep those questions coming.
Thanks, Mike. For those of you who don't know me, Grant Garrett, head coach of the Toronto Royals, much better known as Reg, and also head coach of Team Canada for the 7th year. It's been an honor to be part of this program all 7 years. To say the least, the battle that we're in for this game and past games is we're playing the best players on the planet from Team USA, and therefore the best team. Each and every year that I've done this, the gap is closing. Team Canada seems to be finding a way to be more competitive and push USA, including 2017. I was very proud to be part of our victory, my one victory as a head coach. It was one of those games where we competed throughout. All the players in our starting lineup played up to their capabilities, and we pushed them the entire game. Managed to get ahead of them in the 6th inning, and doesn't matter what team you're facing. If you're favored to win like they are, and you're trailing, and you're running out of outs, things get tougher, and we managed to pull it off. Something that very proud of to have in my cap, and it was a great honor and great for all the players that were involved in it. It was a terrific feeling.
And I just want to, first of all, thank Mike and the Softball Canada board for selecting me again. I'm very happy to be back. It's my 4th year at the women, and I think 6th overall with the softball program. As Reg said, one of the most special moments in Slow Pitch was 2017, where, you know, we took the inaugural women's border battle, and then the men swept the night right on Canada's 150th birthday. So it's this program's brought some pretty special memories for all of us, and we look forward to getting on with it this year and possibly next year, and maybe bring the trophies back to Canada again. All right, we're going to start with the player selection now. The first on the women's side from BC Adrenaline, Amanda BEITEL. Last year was her first year with the team. She pitches for the BC team, and I know as playing against her the last couple of years, it's always been tough playing against them, and they give us a really good game, vice versa, both ways, and it's a pleasure to have her back for her 2nd year.
First selection for the men's side, and this is not in any particular order, but first timer, somebody worked very hard to get to where he is today. Won a gold medal last year. Bob Henning, AFTERSHOCK. Congratulations.
From BC Adrenaline again, Tina Gulbranson. This is her 4th border battle with the women. I can honestly say she's a pleasure to coach, and happy to have her back on the 4th year. And every time I do this, I hope she's here with us.
The next selection for the men's side, one of my boys, COLIN Seabass Andrews, Home Run Sports Orioles, total gamer. Glad to have you on board. 6th appearance.
The next selection for women, also from BC Adrenaline, Jessie Goddard. It's her 2nd year. Again, a pleasure to coach. Last year was her 1st year with us, and a great contributor on and off the field, and happy to have her back this year.
Next selection for the men's side, Dave Goulet, Farmer Par, pitcher at DH. This is my 3rd year consecutively coaching Dave, and got to know him on a personal level, and he's a good man, and I'm glad to have you again.
Next up from Ontario and the Home Run Sports Ladybirds, Sarah Berry. This is her 2nd year on the team, and her 2nd year on the Ladybirds coming up. A pleasure to coach. Plays the game very aggressively, and very happy to have her back again.
Next choice for the men's side, Jeff Andrews, BUSDRIVERS, 5th appearance. Excitable player, lots of energy. Glad to have you back. Congrats.
Next up, again from Ontario and the Ladybirds, Olivia CROSSLEY, her 2nd border battle appearance, and she also played on the home run team in Kitchener. Very excited to have her back. Very versatile, can play basically anywhere on the field and help the team out.
Next selection from the men's side, Steele Lewis, formerly of the Orioles, currently of Resmondo, USA, 7th border battle experience. One of the players on this team that could probably play for Team USA. Great to have you on board.
Next up from BC Adrenaline, Melanie Gulbranson. This will be her 1st year with us. Look forward to getting to know her a little bit better. And we've competed against her the last couple of years, and it'd be nice to have her on our side for once.
Next selection, Pat Severin, AFTERSHOCK, 2nd border battle appearance. Pat's a gamer, likes to have a lot of fun when he plays. It was a pleasure to get to know him last year. Looking forward to year 2 with you. Congrats.
Next up from Ontario and the Ladybirds, Shannon Hilton. This will be her 1st border battle appearance. Shannon's a great outfielder for my team, and one of the best defenders I've ever seen on a slow pitch field. So welcome, Shannon.
Next selection from the team side, men's side, Ryan Gates, game on mobile, second appearance. Ryan's a quiet guy, but when the game starts, he comes to play. Congrats and welcome.
Next up from BC Adrenaline, Jackie Bates. One of the biggest home runs in Canadian women's slow pitch, hitting that first home run in the first year border battle, and let's hope we can repeat it this year with a couple more of those.
Next selection as a first timer, a gentleman that's been pushing the envelope the last couple of years, had a terrific Canadians this year, finds himself now on the team. Sean Gilchrist, SIS Cardinals. Congratulations, well done.
Next up from Alberta Carnage, Patty Simon. This will be her 4th appearance with the team. Patty's a great outfielder for our team. It's been a pleasure coaching her the last couple of years, and great for the team on and off the field.
Next selection for Team Canada, Ryan Yakura, Aftershock, second appearance. Ryan is a gold medal winner now, and enjoy having his ability to play multiple positions. Welcome back and congrats.
Next up from Ontario and the Ladybirds, pitcher Michelle Lorenz. Not much I can say about her that people don't know, but probably the best pitcher ever to play on the women's side, and easily a Hall of Famer in the future.
Next selection for the men's team, first timer as well. Another gentleman that's found his way onto the team, but with a lot of hard work. Been on the radar for the last couple of years and is now here. Steve Way, Rockies, first appearance. Congratulations.
Next up from Ontario and the Ladybirds, shortstop Jacqueline O'Quinn. Jack's been on the team for the last 4 years also. Great contribution offensively and defensively. A big triple in the first year in 2017, cleared the bases to give us that 12-8 victory.
Next selection is technically a first timer. Hasn't been able to make it in the past. Last year was part of the Hardball Canada program. But I'm hoping that he's able to make it. We need you. Hope we can make it out. Jonathan Mallow, Farmer Par, first appearance. Congrats.
From Ontario and the Angels, coming back after 1 year absence, Fez Verboom. Fez played the first couple years on the team and very instrumental, pitches for the team, plays a little defense, but hits the ball very hard. It'll be a welcome addition to have her back.
Next selection for the men's team, Brian Bell, game on mobile, easy going dude. It keeps everybody loose and having fun. Congrats and welcome back.
Next up for the girls from Manitoba and the Manitoba Wild, Paige Smith. Paige is a great outfielder to have on the team, a good influence in the dugout, great girl to coach, and happy to have her back for the 4th year.
Next selection for the men's team, one of the best players in Canada. Great to have you back. Curtis Nebel, Home Run Sports Orioles, one of my guys. This will be his 4th appearance, and it'll be a very big addition for our team.
Next up from Alberta Carnage, Kirsten Solberg. Leader on the infield, plays the 5-woman like no one else in the country. Happy to have her back for her 4th appearance on the team.
Next selection is one of my guys again, Kyle Neckel, Home Run Sports Orioles. Pleasure to coach. Very good competitor. Always wants to win. Keeps everybody loose and having fun. Welcome back.
Next up from Ontario, from the Sports Zone Griffins, Lenny Stoddard. Her 3rd year on the team. Great outfielder, covers lots of ground out there, and had a great season last year at the plate and helped us, perform pretty well down there. Just couldn't get the big game in.
Next selection for Team Canada, first timer as well, a gentleman who's been also pushing the envelope year after year and getting closer, Maxim Bouchard, Farmer Par. Congratulations, first appearance.
Next up from the Ontario Ladybirds, Kate Clowett, otherwise known as Ansu. This is her 4th appearance. Also had a big home run in 2017 to help us sweep the Americans that year. Welcome back, Kate.
Next selection is actually the oldest player on the team, and he's played so long, he actually played with me. 7th year, Ronnie Madeline, Home Run Sports Orioles.
Next up from Ontario, another first-timer. I had the pleasure of coaching her last year for the first time, Shelby Leah. Played pretty much every position on the infield for me last year and did a great job. Looking forward to having her a part of this for the first time.
Next selection, Hunter Platten, SIS Cardinals, 5th appearance. Hunter's a great guy and goes about it very physical, a lot of talent, a lot of tools, and keeps the guys loose. Good to have you back.
Next up, also from Ontario, and the Lady Mets, her first appearance. Christy Bremer had a great Canadians last year, led the tournament hitting. I know she went 4 for 5, I believe, against us, so it was tough to get out. So I look forward to having her a part of this program this year also.
Next selection is a third-timer, Kyle Randers, AFTERSHOCK. Worked hard to make himself into what I feel is the best pitcher in Canada now, and also now a gold medal. Congrats and welcome aboard.
Next up from Alberta, Carnage again, Amanda Howard. This will be her third border battle appearance with us. Did a great job last year starting in the outfield for us. Covers a lot of ground out there. Really happy to have her part of this program, and back again for her third round this year.
Next up is Chad Stang, outfielder for the BUSDRIVERS, his second appearance. Chad's a very terrific center fielder, good young player, lots of tools, just needs experience, and hopefully his border battle helps with that.
And last but not least, on the girls' side, from Ontario Sports Zone Griffins, Erica Burns. Also happy to have Erica around as long as there's no golf carts in the park. But Erica is a gamer, and we love having her on the team.
Last but not least, from the men's side, one of my favorite players, great teammate, great guy, can play on my team anytime, Justin Pinnell, SIS Cardinals. 7th appearance. Congrats.
All right, great job, guys. Thanks very much. So once again, to recap, the men's roster: Colin Andrews, Jeff Andrews, Brian Bell, Maxim Bouchard, Ryan Gates, Sean Gilchrist, Dave Goulet, Bob Henning, Kyle Nechtel, Steele Lewis, Jonathan Mallow, Ron Nadalin, Curtis Niebel, Justin Pinnell, Hunter Platten, Kyle Reinders, Pat Severin, Chad Stang, Ryan Yakura, and Steve Way. Congratulations to the 20 athletes named to the Border Battle Men's Selection Pool. Now the women's roster: Jackie Bates, Amanda BEITEL, Sarah Berry, Christy Bremer, Erica Burns, Olivia CROSSLEY, Jess Goddard, Tina Gobranson, Melanie Gobranson, Shannon Hilton, Amanda Howard, Kate Clowett, Shelby Leah, Michelle Lorenz, Jacqueline O'Quinn, Patty Simon, Paige Smith, Kirsten Solberg, Lenny Stoddard, and Fez Berboom. Congratulations to the 20 women's players named to the women's selection pool. Once again, thank you for attending. We're going to get to some questions here. First off, to Tony, what do you think the key strengths are for this group?
I think the fact that a lot of them have been there before. For a lot of them, it's either their third or their fourth, so the nerves should be gone. They've all become better friends over the last 3 or 4 years since they've been part of the program. So it's really hard when you only get together once a year to play an event, but because they're a little more familiar with each other now, that should make it a little bit easier for us to gel going into a pretty quick weekend.
Yeah, it is quick, no doubt. A couple of exhibition games and then one game winner take all. That's the tough part for sure. Okay, and over to you, Grant. The 2 games Canada has won at the border battle on the men's side, they have scored 30 runs in each. How important do you think that is in your wins?
Seems to be a magic number, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The most important thing I think about 30 runs is that it keeps us in the game at all times. When we've been able to achieve that, we're rather within striking distance or leading. And like I mentioned before, I think that as the game gets later on, the U.S. is so heavily favored to win this game that they feel the pressure and it changes their approach somewhat. And year we won, we did exactly that, and they just weren't able to catch up. They got close, but we held on.
Yeah, for sure. This one's for Tony. What do you know about the Team USA on the women's side?
I know they're beatable. Obviously, they play this game somewhat professionally down there, and they're pretty good. I think we're more athletic than them. I think they probably have a little more power than us, but I think we're more athletic, and if we play the game we played in 2017 and with good pitch selection and good defense, we can beat them.
Good. Here's a comment, not a question. It comes from somebody affectionately known as Bug. He just says, good luck, coaches and players. Lots of talent. So tough just to keep 16, which is so true. You know, so whenever we get around to naming those top 16 players, it is going to be tough, and we're going to be leaving some good players at home like we usually do. So thanks, Bug. This one's for Grant. How is the Canadian game at its highest level different than the border battle game itself?
Based on Canadian championships, which is based on, most selections are really based on Canadian championships. I would say that players are more comfortable, more calm, less excited. They're playing for their team they normally play for. They know their teammates very well. They've worked hard to get to where they're at that point. When you go to the border battle, I think there's a tendency to be sometimes overexcited, less calm, and they could change your pitch selection, could change a lot of things. The games that we competed with the U.S., our players played up to their abilities, and the games that we didn't, unfortunately, we didn't. So being on your home club and being on Team Canada are two different things, and over time, the more experience you get in the border battle, the better off you are.
Yeah, for sure. And I noticed too in my time with you guys there in Oklahoma City or Michigan or even Kitchener, just it seems a lot of nerves for sure are, especially putting Canada across your chest for the first time. It's very difficult, and that's why those exhibition games are so important. You work everybody in, and then because quite frankly, whenever you're coming off the bench and you got a job to do, you know what, hitting that home run is so important. So I think you're absolutely right. Like, it is different from a Canadian championship to a border battle. It's a complete different level. This one's for Tony. Is there an adjustment for our players to play with a strike zone as compared to a mat?
I think there's an adjustment that happens all throughout the weekend because, sorry to say this, but the consistency of the strike zone isn't what you think it would be. The mat is pretty simple. It either hits it or it doesn't. Most umpires get that right. But when you bring a strike zone into play, the arc seems to get a little flatter. And even though the umpires are staring at the ground looking to see where it hits, they're actually not looking at that. But I feel like we're always kind of trying to figure that out as the weekend goes along. And by the time we get to the border battle game, then we'll probably see another umpire with another zone. And I think it's just the consistency of what is a strike that it's tough to get used to.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, this one's for Grant, and it kind of is what I touched on a little while ago. You have some players who have been part of the border battle team for many years. How do they help ease the nerves of the other guys?
Experience is large, as we discussed. I think the more often you put on this uniform and the more games you played in, over time it becomes another game. And therefore, your level of play likely will rise. That competitive urge will get there, not worrying about your own performance, but instead the team. And experience is always big.
Yeah, for sure. Here's one for Tony. If you could change one thing in the women's game, what would it be?
I wish that they could play on parks that were more consistent in size and would bring the home run back into play. We've played in some really short parks like Montreal where it was only 225, which wasn't good also. Lethbridge, was around 260, 265. That was close, but it'd be nice to see them play in a park that was consistently the same size and the home run could be part of the game.
Do you think that 11-inch ball is the way to go for the women's game?
I think probably because they're used to it by now. I'm sure if you made the switch, it wouldn't matter, but I think it's basically been the thing we've used for so long that it isn't even a factor.
Good. Another comment here from Jeff Filardo. Just congrats to all. Have fun and enjoy the experience. So there's a guy that did get to enjoy the experience for a few years for sure, and it was a big part of our teams over those first few border battles. This one's for Grant. In your 7 years, there must have been a few memorable plays, highlights that you have. Can you share them with us? And they can't all just be about the 2017 win, pal.
Well, I tend to have a better memory in the wins. But yeah, over the years, it's been some terrific performances. A lot of terrific defensive plays. I mean, sensational defensive plays. One thing that we've done very well, some eye-dropping plays, and those are the ones that Colin Andrews and Kitchener at shortstop making that play. Justin Pinnell last year playing against Team USA Tutors making a terrific double play. 2017 it was a victory, so I'm going to remember Chris Parr had a game for the ages. Not only pitched a gem against a terrific squad, but also had a 5-for-5 performance, and I'm pretty sure 10 RBIs. It was exceptional. He wasn't alone in that game. Justin Pinnell had a big game. Hunter Platten, Steele Lewis was injured, and Hunter Platten had to step in, and he had a terrific game for us, stepped in big time. When you win a game like that, lots of people contribute, and lots of people did. Lots of people played up to their capability. So I just remember as a whole, our entire squad playing extremely well. And last year, we were down 18-3 to the Futures. Looked like the game was dead, and I entered the bench. All of our guys came in and did an outstanding job that were not starters. 10 for 11, the guys that were on the bench came back and won that game. It's very memorable. It was a great win. Very exciting for us to do so. I would say that's probably the second best team in the world. So it was good to win. Yeah.
Geez, that reminded me last year in Michigan, I thought you were going to get Tony out there to pinch run for a while or something, because you were going through everybody. So this one's for Tony. Are we going to see a border battle back in Canada soon?
Well, we're definitely not going to see it before 2022. We've enjoyed hosting it in 14 and 18. I think Kitchener is the perfect venue for this game and this event. It's always doable. We would need some better corporate sponsors, quite honestly. It costs a lot of money to put the event on between volunteers, and as much as they're volunteers, you still have to pay for hotels, you still have to pay for a lot of things, and the tab on running the whole event needs to be worthwhile to do that much work. So if the financial stuff would change a little bit, I think we could. I know Kitchener would like to have us back, especially now with all the cities looking for events, but let's hope so. I mean, I know USA wants us to take it back, so my guess is 2022 or 2023.
Let's hope.
I think they'll want to show off Oklahoma again after all the renovation.
Yeah, it looks nice. Wow. Yeah, the extra stands, the extra tier.
Yeah.
No, for sure it does. So kind of looking forward to getting there myself. And just further to your point, Tony, on coming back, I know we've had discussions with the U.S. players about the mat. Maybe it's time we tried it in 22 or 23 whenever it gets back to Canada.
Well, we've had discussions with the USA umpires also at different blue conventions, and they wouldn't have a problem with it. I talked to the USA pitchers and stuff, and they wouldn't care. I think they get frustrated by the strike zone also sometimes. But our turf, our rules next time, maybe.
Yeah. Yep. Why not? Okay. Well, that's all the questions that I have. I think somebody might be typing one in here, but is there any last comments you guys want to make before we sign off?
Yeah, I'll say something. A lot of the people think that these players are here on pure talent, and that's obviously a big part of it. But to each and every one of them, they work their asses off as well to be part of this, all winter long, all season long. It's not just talent; it's hard work as well, and they get it done, and that's why they're here.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, congratulate all 20 girls and guys that made the team. It's not easy getting to 20, and it's going to be even harder getting to 16. So look forward to seeing you guys all at the park this summer, and hopefully this summer.
Yeah.
And everyone be safe out there, and we'll see you down at SPC hopefully within the next month.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get back on the field, that's for sure. So a couple of last comments and questions here. Steve Camus is reaching out and saying he was scheduled to umpire the border battle this year, so he's hoping that'll happen. So it'd be great to have Steve back. There's also a question for both of you. Is it easier to coach with the same assistants? So I guess it's like, is it a comfort thing? Is it something that you guys look forward to? Or Tony, why don't we start with you first? And
I think the first 2 years was a little tougher because I knew Kelly half decently, but not as well as I know Bully Karina. Of course, we won in the first year, so that kind of throws that out the window. But for sure, it is like you know, there was a good dynamic last year with the three of us. I see the game one way, they see the game a different way, and we generally, at all tough decisions, put our heads together and came up with what we hoped was the right thing to do. But for sure, familiarity always is easier, right?
yeah, absolutely. Reg?
Say, you know, I've had, you know, because it's my 7th year, I've had a few different assistant coaches over the years, and I've had zero issues with any of them. But the crew that I have now, I would say that we're very much on the same page. Think alike. So I'm always willing to hear from anybody, advice, things like that. And if it's offered, it's usually good advice. So I would just say that there's a comfort zone with the three of us that we developed by doing this over the last 2 years.
Yeah, and I think having Todd around with you, Reg, is really key because he still has that player's perspective and the experience of his play in so many border battles, and then he brings a lot to the table for sure. And it's nice having that experience of actually playing in the game itself. Great. So I think you know, I think both staffs are excellent choices. They both give back to the game. Both staffs give back to the game so much, and you know, we're glad to have all 6 people back on board to volunteer their time once again, for sure. So no more questions. Thanks for everyone who attended. Again, you know, something different. We're hoping it accomplished what it was supposed to do, and the 40 athletes will get some type of email from me probably in the next week or two, and we'll reach out and make sure we answer any questions, and feel free to contact me beforehand if you do have any. All right, thanks again, Grant. Thanks, Tony. Back to you, Gilles, and thanks to everybody for attending.
So that will conclude today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today, and congratulations to all the players who have been selected to the Slow Pitch Border Battle athlete pools. If you have any comments or suggestions for our speaker series webinars, feel free to send them to Gilles LeBlanc or Angela Ballantyne at Softball Canada. The next Rawlings Canada Speaker Series webinar will be rounding the bases on base running at 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, June 16th. Please make sure you register at softball.ca. Cela conclut notre webinaire d'aujourd'hui. Merci beaucoup d'avoir participé et félicitations à tous les athlètes qui ont été sélectionnés au bassin d'athlètes de la bataille de la frontière de Bataille. Si vous avez des commentaires ou des suggestions pour ces webinaires, veuillez les envoyer à Gilles Leblanc ou Angela Ballantyne à Softball Canada. Le prochain webinaire de Rawlings Canada sera au tour des buts sur la course des buts à 19h mardi prochain, le 16 juin. Assurez-vous de vous inscrire à softball.ca.